Right, so I'm looking on camera and I'm realizing you can't see this. Let me turn the lights off. I don't know how well you can tell. It really doesn't show up well on camera. But one of the lamps in my exit sign has burnt out again. This is becoming a trend. When I got the sign itself, it came with 2 lamps already in it. No idea how old they were, but the glass was pretty blackened, so there was quite a bit of tungsten evaporation, and they had quite a bit of hours on them. My guess is that they were older lamps because they worked for about a year. After that, I've been replacing these lamps in here about every month to 2 months, which is unacceptable. And yes, the bulbs that I'm putting in here, I will show them once I pull it out, are designed for exit signs. They say right on the package there's a picture of an exit sign. So they should be designed to run 24/7, long hours, and have no problems. If anything, that should be better for them because heat cycling is what kills lamps. But that's not the case. So we're going to try to do something about that today. He has to make his appearance. Here he is. Come here. Yeah. Look at the car. Yep, he don't want that, does he? Alright, so this thing's held together with one singular screw. And it kind of pivots open. It's also got this area at the bottom, I guess for emergency lighting or whatever. But it really doesn't put out much there. So I'll open it and you see we have 2 lamps in here. This is the one that was dead. Now see, there's a lot of tungsten evaporation on these. This whole glass envelope is like shiny. These are 40-watt lamps, meaning this sign is using 80 watts when it is functioning properly. I think this one just broke too. Yep, that filament just broke that easily. These are maybe a month and a half old. Unacceptable. Look at that. And look how these don't even try. Like, look at how that, I don't know if you can see, but this whole thing just jiggles. Like, that is ridiculous. There's no structure in there. Anyway, the other issue that we were having is here. This refractor, filter, whatever you want to call it, thing is melted. Or it's not really melted because it's fiberglass, but it's got the red gone out of it. And you can see it through here. And you know, I've been thinking about ways I could fix this, you know, with like maybe just a plastic filter of some nature. But of course these 2 40-watt lamps get hot. I mean, this whole thing is quite hot, and there's only one lamp working, so obviously that would melt. So I'm not sure. But anyway, the plan is today, I've got these 9-watt PL adapters here. Let me pull one out of the package. Now obviously this isn't just going to fit in here, it's too tall. But a PL lamp itself, pretend this socket isn't here, is nearly perfect. So what I've gone and done, so I've got 2 of these and I've opened up one carefully. And I will go ahead and show you one of these in operation. I kind of hate to pull these apart, but you know, I've got plenty of vintage preheat circle line PL adapters and those compacts things. These are really not that practical because of how long they are. You'd think they'd be more practical to use in like a circle line adapter, but they are really not because they're just so damn long. And you really can't fit them in any regular lamp without it sticking out unless it's like a huge lamp. Anyway, I'll go ahead and turn this one on just to demonstrate it, I figure, before I pull it apart. This is a Philips 9-watt PL adapter. It does have some hours on it, it looks like. Yeah, it won't focus. But anyway, so what I'm going to do is struggle to remove this with one hand, most likely breaking it in the process. what I'm going to do, obviously this removes, that's a PL lamp itself. And then here we have, I'm going to have to pull this base off, because the wires need to be removed from that. So, should probably do that off camera, but that means we'll just cut the camera, I suppose. Alright, there we go. I have to get in there and snip these two wires up in here, because I got to pull this ballast back this way. So let me just cut those off real quick. So obviously I don't want to cut the wire on the ballast side, because we are going to need to reuse that. Alright, I've cut that off, and we'll just, don't need any of that. These are the pieces we need here. We have, of course, a ballast, just a simple choke ballast. Unfortunately, it doesn't have any sort of like mounting things. We're going to have to figure something like that out. And then we have the PL socket. So we're going to mount that in here somehow. The sockets, I'm thinking probably just going to JB weld them. Seems like it would be the simplest thing to do. And of course, since they're not putting out heat, it doesn't really matter. The ballast is obviously not going to, well, is it? Let's see, if I close this up. No, see, the ballast is hit. Oh, no, it's not. Okay, the ballast will fit in there. I thought I was going to have to mount the ballast on the back and, you know, drill a hole. Oh, jeez, open. But it appears the thing will close with the ballast in here, so I can mount the ballast here. I have to extend the wires out and mount that, and I'll have to figure that out. And maybe we'll just JB weld all of it. I don't know, because there's really no way to mount these. You know, your normal ballast would have like a, you know, some ears to put some screws through. This doesn't really have that. So, yeah. First thing we're going to have to do, though, is remove these sockets. Okay, so it turns out this is going to be a lot easier than I thought. Originally, I thought I was going to have to mount these in here. And then I was going to have to like drill this hole out and mount the ballasts on the back somehow, but it turns out the ballasts fit just fine in here. And it's going to be somewhat like this. Basically the lamps are in the same spot pretty much that the original ones were. And the ballasts are just in there in the middle. Of course, none of this is wired up yet. And if I can get this damn cord out of my way, the sign closes perfectly fine. So we're good. It's not even hitting at all, I don't think. This thing's annoying to open, and sometimes you might, like, you gotta do it properly or else you'll damage the metal, because it gets jammed. Let's say it is jammed. There we go. And I don't think I'm gonna have to really extend this wiring at all. I mean, this, you know, I'm going to have to extend these, but I thought I was going to have to cut this and like extend it to the sockets and whatnot. This is going to be a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. Hardest part's going to be mounting it, and like I said, I'm probably just going to epoxy all this stuff in here. I mean, obviously not the lamps, but, you know, the sockets themselves and the ballasts, because these don't produce much heat, and I know these ballasts are already surrounded in epoxy, so, you know, it doesn't really matter. And I think that's about my only option. I mean, there's no other way to mount these. So that's what we're going to do. So I suppose we'll be back in multiple hours. I suppose I should mention, because I'm going to get comments, yes, bulbs just like this are made in LED format. I understand that. However, if you're going to be one of those people that's going to comment and say, oh, well, why are you putting all this, you do all the fluorescent and mercury, you use all that too much power, you just go switch over dang ol' LED, you know, fit right in there, man. If you're going to be one of those people, I'm going to ask you politely yet firmly to leave. Okay, hopefully they're all gone now, and everyone watching now has some sense, so we will go ahead and continue. Okay, so I got all this held in place with the JB weld. I put this in, this goes in the bottom. Anyway, I'm not going to put it in because it's not dried yet, but that should be about right. I realize they're not going to be perfectly aligned. That's fine, it's behind a red, you don't see it. Now, I'm sure someone out there is going to go, oh, well, why didn't you use this product? Or why didn't you do it that way? Or this kind of glue is better than the epoxy. Or this type of epoxy is better than that. You know what? Anything you do, you're doing it wrong if you're posting it on the internet. Okay? I'm pretty sure this will hold in here just fine. In fact, I'm positive that it will. Why did I use the JB weld? Well, because I had it left over from another project, and it seems like it would be a better decision than super glue. So that's what we're using. It will work fine. This will be fine. It might not look the best, but once again, I close it up. You don't see any of this. So yeah, I mean, that doesn't look so great. I did have to slide it back so it kind of smeared, but functionally, this should be fine. I've done the smart thing and gone ahead and stripped these wires so that I can, you know, wire them up once I get them in there easier. And one thing I find that I always keep if I have a dead power supply is these cables off of power supplies, because they give you nice sections of wire, which you can use in stuff like this. I also use one of these for spreading the stuff, which I don't know what you'd call this, but it came with a laptop battery a long time ago, and I guess it was for like prying out the battery. But anyway, it works pretty good for this kind of stuff. Anyway, I guess we'll be back in a couple hours once this cures. By a couple hours, I think it's four hours before it's dry enough to really do anything with it, or cured enough. So, we'll see. I'll be back. Okay, so it's probably been 4 hours or so, and this is cured, or not cured, but it's cured enough. You can see here, I can, you know, it's not loose anymore. You can see how these are mounted now. So if I put the lamps in them, of course they're not perfectly in line, which is, it is what it is. You can see, once the lid is on there, how they will be. So that should be good. What I'm going to do now is connect these wires up. And the good thing about PL lamps, and part of the reason why I like them, try to hold this so I don't pull the epoxy off just in case. Part of the reason why I like PL lamps is because of how simple they are to wire. You know, with a regular fluorescent light or even a circle line lamp, you have to have the ballast, which then, you know, connects one end of the ballast, connects to the lamp, the other end, of course, of the ballast connects to the line, and then you have a starter which has to go across the lamp to start it. Well, a PL lamp omits half of that because the starter is actually in this base, this fat plastic piece here. This is actually where the starter is, which is why you'll see there are only 2 pins. So internally, the other side, you know, there would be 4 pins on a fluorescent lamp. Well, the other 2 pins are internally connected to that starter, so you don't have to worry about that. All you have to worry about is connecting one end to the ballast, which, as you can see, they already are. And then the other end, of course, to your neutral wire, and then of course the 2 wires from the ballast will go to the hot wire, and that's it. That's all there is to it. So yeah, and of course if your starter or lamp fails, you replace this whole thing. So that is kind of cool. So there's basically really nothing to fail in a PL setup other than that. So we'll go ahead and hook this up, and we'll be back. Okay, so I got this wired up, and I actually only had to extend one wire. Both of these went together fine. I just had to extend this one over to the neutral on this side. And I say neutral, but this is an unpolarized plug, but yeah, it doesn't really matter. I'll kind of try to just keep that down like that, just because. Anyway, that's all I had to do. I was expecting to have to modify these wires some more. Yeah, those are fine. We'll go ahead and put our lamps back in, and I suppose we will test it out. This one lamp hits this hinge a little bit, but once you get it in place, it does not. And this one actually does the same thing. Yay! So let's go ahead and take it over here. And we will go ahead and plug it in. If I can move that. In 3, 2, 1. Uh-oh. Do I have a dead lamp? Yeah, the lamp just blew. Really? Is this lamp's dead? It was working before, it just lost vacuum? What the hell, man? Well, one of them's working. I suppose let's take this one out and flip it over just to make sure that everything else is working. It appeared that it was trying to start. I don't know why it did that. Yeah, so the ballast is fine. Suppose this, somehow, I don't see any cracks in it. I mean, it was brand new. I just opened it, so maybe it was... What the hell? Unplugging that turned off the monitor. Try that again. Huh! What the hell? This monitor is so damn sensitive. Let me get back here so you can see. This is just the plug for this. This monitor is plugged in way down at the ground, not in this receptacle at all. And of course it doesn't do it that time, because why would it? You saw it. Anyway, I suppose we'll go ahead and install that again just to make sure clearance wise it fits. I'm going to have to get another 9-watt PL lamp now because I don't have one. And once again, these hinges are a little annoying here. I'm actually going to install this plastic lens back in the bottom as well. And we'll go ahead and close the whole thing back up. If I can, that would be nice. There we go. Lean it up against this here. I believe this will be bright enough. We'll go ahead and plug it in. Oh yeah, that's even brighter than it was before. I'm going to get that other one in there and it'll be good. And look, some light actually comes out the bottom now. Let me switch the lamp over to the working side, or the other side, the working... Let me switch the working lamp over to the other side, and we just broke that fucking lamp. Okay, so I suppose, as I was planning originally, we will be back tomorrow after I've bought 2 new 9-watt PL lamps, and you know, we'll be good to go. So I guess we'll do that. And there you go. Of course, trying to do that with one hand, I had to go ahead and do that, didn't I? Well, alright. Good thing those are still easy to find. Well, I suppose this gives us a chance to demonstrate the PL bulb having the starter in the bottom. These things are just held together with 4 tabs, as you can see. I'm just going to get something that is not that, because that is too flimsy. I'm just going to pry these open. And you want to do this in a jerking, wrenching motion toward your hand, like I'm doing here. If I pull this off, in the base here, broke the 2 wires out, that's fine, but we will see right here, of course you got your 2 wires that were going out here, and then you got your 2 wires going to this little doodad here. This purple thing, which looks gray because of the high pressure sodium light in here right now, is a capacitor, and then this little bottle here is your starter. If you're unfamiliar with how a starter works, it's filled with gas. I'm trying to show it really, but it won't. It's filled with gas, and when voltage is applied, that gas gets excited and causes these 2 metallic strips inside to heat up and bend. They are bimetallic strips. They touch each other, which then sends the voltage and current through the 2 heaters at the end, which are just 2 small filaments in the end of the lamp. And once those are heated, the voltage across here, of course, drops, so these go back open, at which point the lamp strikes and starts. If it fails, of course, the lamp is not running, so therefore the voltage across here gets higher again, and it tries again. So that's why sometimes you'll see them blink multiple times before they turn on. These can actually be useful, so I always cut these out of here and keep them, because I believe this is an FS5 starter, but pretty much that is exactly what is internally inside of one of these. This is an FS4 starter, so it's for a 4-foot tube, but it's the same deal inside of there. So yeah, if you're ever taking these apart, or I should say if you ever have a dead one, consider taking it apart and saving that. Having said that, I'm looking in here and I don't know why this lost vacuum. There's no cracks. This, of course, is the one that I did not bust. This is the one that I busted on video, of course. But this one, there are no microscopic cracks that I can see. Oh, wait. Yes, there is. I don't know how well you can see that. Let me get some light with actual color rendering here. Yeah, it's not going to focus. There's a very, very small microscopic crack on the very end of this. I don't believe that's something I did, because, I mean, if I did it, it would have had to have been done today, and it wasn't, so, I mean, this was new old stock, so, yeah, there you go. But anyway, yeah, inside this base here is your starter, which is why the setup for these is so easy. Just a choke in series with it across the mains line, and that's it. Okay, so I've gone ahead and hung the sign back up. It's got no lamps in it. I bought 2 new PL lamps. They're these guys. They're this company, which I am not going to attempt to pronounce because I always get corrected. Really not much on this packaging. This is some very modern, minimalistic packaging. It's just not really good at all. Anyway, I'll open it up and we'll put those in there, and I'm going to do it off camera so I can use both hands and not, you know, shatter the bulb like I did the other one. And once the lamps are installed, I'll be back. Okay, the sign is up and the lights, or the lamps are in it. I'll cut this off so that I can turn it on camera. I haven't tried it yet. These are brand new PL lamps. Sometimes brand new lamps are very slow to start, very blink happy, so I figured I'd catch that on camera. 3, 2, 1. Alright, Do that one more time. These are very vocal. And you can see up in the base there, that little starter I showed you inside of there. Alright, we'll go ahead and close the sign up, and I guess we'll show it again after that. Alright, it's put together. Go ahead and turn it on. And that's it. It's just actually maybe even a little brighter than it was before it broke. Obviously you can see that glare there. That's from the somewhere that damn thing is worn through on that one side, and you can kind of see it on the other side, but especially on this side where the red is gone, is kind of annoying, but really not much you can do about that. And then I guess now that I don't have two hot 40-watt incandescent lamps in there, you know, I mean those PL lamps will only get, you know, slightly warm at the most. I could maybe find some sort of plastic lens to put in there, you know, that's red or something. That one there is like fiberglass or something. I really don't know what it is, but it's not plastic, of course. Plastic would melt, at least with the original lamps, like I said. So I don't know what that is, but the color's gone. If anyone knows what I could use in here, you know, like a piece of maybe colored red acrylic and try to cut it with a hot wire or something. I know you can't really cut that stuff regularly because it'll crack, but I'm not entirely sure. But anyway, there you go. It's working now, and these should last for probably a couple years because it's on 24/7, and the most wear on a fluorescent lamp, of course, is on startup when the cathode's sputtering. So this should last a long time. So I shouldn't have to replace the lamps every, you know, 2 months or so, like I was before. It also has the added side effect. This is not like the reason for doing this, but it has the side effect of these being two 9-watt lamps. So we're using 18, let's say about a watt per ballast as ballast loss at the most likely. We're using about 20 watts for the whole sign instead of 40 now, or sorry, instead of 80. So there is that too. So that's putting off a lot less heat. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.